what's your take on this wide receiving core?
Oh, I think it's terrible. I think it's awful. I think it's absolutely horrendous.
Wait a second. There's a penalty on the play, and I'm like, what?
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
Joining us on the phone, we have NFL prospect and future XFL player Jeremiah Spicer.
I don't know, man. I don't like to talk about myself like that, man.
Yeah. I told him if the Raiders took in Oliver, I was going to take him in the bathroom. So he won twice.
Dude, the last time I checked, I am God, so slow your roll. Slow your roll down.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Noodles? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show. We are ready to go. We are winding down here. Now we're talking about the playoffs here. Well, we're talking about the NFC side here.
Yeah.
This is every matchup so far has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really has. Like, there hasn't been one dud playoff game yet. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we keep continuing this momentum that we got going here. Hopefully every single game this upcoming this weekend is going to be just as awesome as the last.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw a couple controversial calls during the last week or so. You know, hopefully this week it'll get cleaned up. We can only hope, I
Probably
guess, right? But we still have two juggernauts of matchups here. With the Vikings, their defense stepped up. They played great last week. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins showed that he can, in the moment, come through and get a big win here on the big lights and big stage. The Seahawks, even though pulling off a win against, Josh McCown and stuff coming, off the bench here after a huge hit on Carson Wentz. So that was a little rough for them. But now the Packers, what are we going to get out of, Matt LaFleur here and them? We'll see what's going on. It's a great matchup here moving on. But let's get to our first one. It is the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, here's the 49ers 1 year removed from Jimmy G being injured for the whole season, and then their season being done. Absolutely. We're able to pull out a few victories here and there, but still not much. Now you see him in the full, driver's seat. They have an array of running backs there now too.
You think?
And along
no
with the young
there.
wide receivers and that defense and that pick of getting Nick Bosa. Look at that. That guy has been a beast all year for him, all over the field, making plays and making noise for everybody too. So it's going to be tough going into San Fran here for the Minnesota Vikings coming off that big emotional win and try and do some damage here against the number one seed here in the NFC.
Yeah, and I would say one of their biggest additions this regular season is that they made a trade for Emmanuel Sanders. They didn't look so hot in the receiving core. They did go ahead and they drafted Deebo Samuel, who has been a pleasant surprise his rookie year and has made the most of it thus far. But getting a guy like Emmanuel Sanders has really uplifted this offense and has released a lot of pressure on Jimmy G to kind of make something happen. Even though he has George Kittle, very deadly tight end weapon, and Deebo Samuel's emergence, but adding Emmanuel Sanders was a big, big addition for this team and has really propelled this offense to play at a very high level, along with their plethora of running backs. And, as you say, there's no shortage of talent there. I think almost every single running back there,
there's a different guy that's in the lead.
Exactly. You got Matt Brady. You got Mostert. You got Tevin Coleman. The list goes on. And it's like every single running back could start for another team that needs a starter. So very deep in that aspect. They have some good weapons. They have a good offensive line. Jimmy G, he's had his ups and downs this regular season, but mostly looking on the way up coming into the playoffs. And defensively, this Niners defense, we mentioned it last year how a lot of people were overlooking this 49er defense and not really giving them the praise that they probably should have. Now they've put their name and they've stamped it on the football field, and they're saying, hey, listen, We're here now. We are the number one defense. We are here to stay. We have talent every level of that defense. It's absolutely crazy. And their linebackers are kind of the unsung heroes on this defense. We can all say, wow, look at that D-line. It's like a all-star D-line. Mm-hmm. I mean, it should be because the Niners have, used a first-round draft pick on every single one of those guys up front. Mm-hmm. But their linebackers are very, very instinctive, very young linebackers that fly to the football, making plays left and right. And I think that right there is also making this defense very deadly. On the Minnesota Vikings side, however, they're making a little bit of noise too. Mm-hmm. That defense is coming in on a big win against the Saints in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. That defense showed me a lot. We saw during the regular season, they weren't looking too hot throughout the regular season. I was actually quite surprised. I thought that defense would take a step forward and get a little bit better than the previous year. But they really are kind of like lackluster at times. They were average at times. And now coming into the playoffs, it looks like they just finally woke up. Now you're seeing Anthony Barr making plays. You're seeing the D-line and Danielle Hunter making plays in the backfield. I mean, Griffin, he's rushing the passer as well. A lot to like with this team, and it's a good thing that they finally woke up on defense. They played a great game last week against a good offense, a very explosive offense in the New Orleans Saints. And the Vikings on offense now have Dalvin Cook. He's able to move the ball down the football field. This is going to be a very good matchup right here, an NFC matchup right here, a battle, and both teams are good on both sides of the ball. This should be a very, very good, maybe even could go down as one of the better games in NFL history. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a tight one, Jim.
It is, absolutely. I mean, to talk about the 49ers here, Kyle Shanahan, he seems like he's got this crew just following what he can do here. They're rocking and rolling, and the Vikings, they were a great, well-built team, too. If you look at personnel top to bottom, mm-hmm. Defense is great. Wide receivers are solid. Tight ends are solid. Quarterback, again, Kirk Cousins, he's a pretty good quarterback. It's just he just doesn't look so good at times, just misses some throws on occasion.
Right.
Dalvin Cook in the backfield. Again, finally we see him come back after the injury and be that guy that we thought he could be.
Once again.
And running amazingly. So that's going to be the matchups here. Because, again, both two teams that can run well. The wide receivers on the Minnesota Vikings side is a bit better.
Right.
And the defenses are both great defenses. So you're going to take a look back at these two quarterbacks. We've seen Jimmy G go in Seattle, have some issues here, almost pull out a win here. But in that matchup, I saw him when it came down to it in a 2-minute offense. He looked a little rattled, looked a little nervous. Like, I'm not sure if I can propel this team past some of this stuff. I think Kirk Cousins is cool as a cucumber at times here for some of this stuff. He's been there before. He's been able to have it done here. I think when it comes down to it, said and done, 49ers are number one seed, but I think the Minnesota Vikings can come in here and pull off the upset and then face up against their divisional rivals possibly in the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, this game could go either way, but I got one question for you, Jim. What do you think Kyle Shanahan does in the second half if they have the lead? You think they're going to keep running or keep throwing the ball? Sorry.
He better manage the clock and not, when you're in field goal range, drop back for a pass for some reason.
Yeah, so, this game's going to be amazing. It's going to go down to the end. I can't wait to watch this game, and it's really, I don't know. I don't know what way I should go because, to be honest, there's pros and cons to every team, mm-hmm. and these guys are actually very closely matched up. Mm-hmm. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be given another opportunity to pull another big game out of thin air with the refs. I'm sorry, but the refs did help him out on that. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers at home. I think that their defense is going to overwhelm this Minnesota Vikings offensive line. And the Niners, I believe, has a better. They do. They have a better offensive line than the Vikings, and they're going to help pass protect a little bit better for Jimmy G.
All right, there you go. And there's our picks there. And moving on to the next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Green Bay Packers. And this rivalry has been here for the playoffs for a few years here now. The Packers haven't made the playoffs in the last couple, but again, these two, when they face up, it's always controversial, and it's always a big play when stuff goes down here with these guys. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, they've had their own kind of rivalry going on too. Russell Wilson, a young great. Aaron Rodgers, a bit older, but still, again, much thought of as one of the greatest of all time too, with his QBR and being able to get elusive out of the pocket, make some plays with his legs, and his accurate throws. We had a lot of questions going forward in this regular season. What was this offense going to look like? Matt LaFleur, I wasn't sure. I'd rather be on
Is he going to run the ball?
On the reserve side than say, they're going to turn this out and, be explosive. And we've seen both. We've seen it up and down with this team. They've been a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team at times. Going West Coast, it seems they don't do very well. So at least thank goodness for them they're not going to Seattle, right? Because we saw them going to the Los Angeles Chargers and lay an egg. And then I think they did against the Rams again. It was something about L.A., maybe something in the water over there. I don't know. But
they're just not used to the warm weather.
They're here at home. It's going to be cold there now. I think in the weather report they're saying snow. Which Seattle
could see some light
deal with
snow
that too. They dealt with that bad weather before.
Mm-hmm.
But they're banged up on the running side too. I think we're just going to bring it up. Aaron Jones now, we have a sighting with him, and they're able to run the football now here. Keep some of that pressure off of just Aaron Rodgers trying to get things done in offense and on passing game. And the good thing about this team is they've been able to pull out wins and still stay on top with having Devontae Adams go down within the season and other injuries. And now he's back. Everybody's healthy and running on all cylinders here. Now the key to this is how is the Green Bay defense. What defense are we going to see this time?
You talk about Jekyll and Hyde. Well, that is the epitome of the Green Bay Packers defense. Sometimes they are amazing and they're just flying to the football. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're doing everything right. And then the very next week, when there's an opponent that you think they should stomp, they end up giving up everything: rushing yards, touchdowns, and they just can't figure out how to stop opponents. So it's really a flip of the coin for the Green Bay Packers defense what to expect. All we do know is that the Seattle offense doesn't care what they're going to do. The Seattle offense and Russell Wilson, they're going to try to go ahead and move the ball down them. They're not going to try to have Russell Wilson hold on to the football too long. They're going to get it to Tyler Lockett. They're going to try to run Marshawn Lynch. The beast is back again in Seattle. They're going to try to give him the ball more often this game rather than the last game. They might have been just trying to slowly work him into probably trying to break him and get him into football shape. Mm-hmm. He's been in great shape, even when he even when he stopped playing. He's been working out and everything. But there's a difference between football shape and just being in shape. So hopefully he is a full go. Hopefully he can tote the rock all game long, and that's going to pay. It's going to pay off for the Seattle Seahawks because they need that run game. This offense is derived from the run game. How bad do you think they're missing Chris Carson right now? Pretty bad. So now they have Lynch. Hopefully they can rely on him to help stabilize this offense going forward. And the Packers, I have a question for the Packers on offense. Listen, we've all seen Aaron Jones and how amazing he's been for this team this regular season. Now it's the playoffs. A little bit different. Now the Seattle Seahawks, they're very hungry on defense. What are they going to do? They're going to try to stop the run game. I know it sounds crazy, but they want to make Aaron Rodgers throw the football. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have the enormous amount of prolific wide receiver talent like he once had, and his offensive line is banged up coming into this matchup. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to go forward in this offense, how they're going to try to combat the Seattle defense. Seattle's going to try to stuff Aaron Jones. You just know that. That's the go-to here. And quite honestly, I see the Seattle Seahawks defense playing high-pressured coverage, trying to get in the face of these receivers. I know Devontae Adams, they're going to have to double-team him. That goes without saying. Mm-hmm. And if they can do that and do that successfully, they got to keep pressure on the rest of the receiving options. And And then, I guess that's it. I just talked about both teams. So this game, it's in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. There is likely a chance of snow there. We don't know how much as of yet, but isn't it like the perfect setting in Green Bay for it to possibly snow, to be cold, with this kind of a rivalry coming in Green Bay once again? This is going to be an amazing game. I think it's going to be another great game that these two teams are now meeting up in the playoffs. But I'm going to go with the side that is a little bit more consistent to my liking. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks going into Green Bay and pulling off a close win in Green Bay. And again, it's partially because I don't really know what's in store for the Green Bay's defense. I do know they're going to put pressure on Russell Wilson. That I do know. They're very good at that every single week. They can put pressure on the quarterback. But I don't know what to expect with that defense in the pass game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand your worries and stuff. Like, we've seen this and stuff. Like, I wasn't even on this bandwagon with the Packers, and they kind of just showed me otherwise at times. But
right,
what a key to this there for the Green Bay Packers defense, you got to have the law firm of Smith & Smith ready. You know, Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith.
They're going to be there.
Those guys, they got to get going, and they got to be a factor in this game. Again, like you said, it's tough to contain Russell Wilson because he's going to roll out. He's going to do bootlegs. He could run 10 yards backwards and still make a 5-yard gain.
That's true.
You know, so you got to watch that here. All right. And on the offensive side, I'm sorry, but Jimmy Graham, you got to step up sometime, bud. You know what I mean? There's been too many opportunities when you've been in some of these games here and you've had the chance to get the game-winning touchdown, and you go for a one-hander for some reason and things like that.
When he could have gone for two.
Been just bring it in. Make the safe bet. You wanted to get paid a long time ago with the New Orleans Saints for a wide receiver and this and make this and that. And since then, you haven't really showed me anything. So this is your opportunity. You get it going here.
Right.
Make the plays here. You wanted that badly. This is probably your last opportunity to get into the Super Bowl here with these guys.
Definitely.
For him.
And that's the other thing, too, is just to run off what you were saying, is that Jimmy Graham, I think he, down the stretch, going into the end of the regular season, he was becoming more involved in this offense because of the lack of weapons behind Davante Adams. Now, Jimmy Graham, he could be a huge factor in this game, and he should be, because so far before Matt LaFleur, he wasn't even being used to his full capabilities, wasn't even used in the offense. Early in the season, we didn't see him very much either, and now down the stretch, you're starting to see him being more involved. I will say this, in order for the Packers to get a win against Seattle, I think it's going to be critical for guys like Geronimo Allison, guys like Marcus Valdez-Scantling, those type of wide receivers. They're going to have to step up their game as too, because if Davante Adams gets shut down in protection and he's being double covered, these other guys got to step up and make plays as well.
Yeah, so when it all comes down to it, it's all said and done. I am going to disagree with Joe, and I'm going to be on the Packers side here. Hopefully they can get it done, and Jimmy G will have to be the deciding factor here again for them. Or Jimmy Graham. He is a Jimmy G.
He is a Jimmy G.
Jimmy Graham.
You can say that.
We need a
it's
Jimmy
fine.
Graham sighting here. It's going to be a knockout, dragout game. You know it. That's what you always get here with the Green Bay Packers. And it's the wild card, baby. Divisional playoffs. And after that, we got championship weekend. You know, it's coming here. So
yeah, definitely. Hey, know-it-alls. All you know-it-alls out there, make sure you go ahead and share us. Sharing is caring. Go ahead, spread the love. Hey, bring your friend next time. Bring your friend next time. Have them go ahead. They like football. We like talking football. Down in the comments below, let us know what your picks are for this divisional round matchups, all these matchups here. And also go ahead and, if you can, encourage your friends to go ahead and subscribe to us on Football on the No Show on YouTube. Also, go ahead and hit the notification bell for all our latest and greatest updated content. You can also follow us over on Twitter, where we try to keep up on the latest and greatest topics and news around the NFL Football League. On Twitter, at FB_no. You can also go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Football on the No Show. Go ahead, become a member, become a know-it-all.
That's right.
That's what
Enjoy the
about.
games coming up here in the divisional round, and we'll see you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more Football on the No with Jim and Joe.